Hiya, how are you doing? We're back for another episode, and this week's guest is someone you've probably come across before, whether through his books, his unmistakable visual style, or his honest, often hilarious take on creative life. Adam Kurtz, also known as Adam JK, is an artist, author and designer whose work has built a global following for its raw, relatable take on everything from anxiety and identity to growth and figuring things out as we go along. He's spent over a decade building a career rooted in personal expression, publishing books, collaborating with brands, and sharing work that feels truly human in an increasingly noisy world. But in recent years, things have shifted. After leaving New York during the pandemic, Adam found himself in Hawaii, starting a new chapter, rethinking what success looks like, and even opening his own shop, Small Kind Gift, a space built around connection, curiosity, and small, meaningful moments. We talk about all of that, burnout, reinvention, moving somewhere you never expected, and what happens when you step away from the version of yourself you've spent years building. And of course, we get into his upcoming book, Now What?, which feels pretty timely given, well, everything. So if you've ever found yourself asking what's next, or wondering if you're allowed to change direction, this one's for you. This episode is sponsored by Adobe Acrobat Studio. And if you still think of Acrobat as just a PDF tool, this might change your mind. Acrobat Studio is now a fully AI-powered workspace. You can chat with your documents, pull insights from multiple files at once, collaborate with your team in shared PDF spaces, and even turn a doc straight into a branded design via Adobe Express, all in one place. Find out more at the link in the show notes. It's lovely to be chatting with you because I think we've been trying to get together and do this for a while. You actually were, I think when we first tried to do this, I think it was just before the pandemic, and you were back in New York in those days. And then of course the pandemic happened and everything changed, and a lot changed for you, I hear.
Yeah, I think, I really thought I was going to live and die in New York City. And that was so special. I was like, yes, I found my place. We're all insane here, and I'm just going to live out the rest of my days. But I married, my husband Mitchell is born and raised in Honolulu, Hawaii. And during that time, that first year of COVID was so difficult in New York. It really felt like being in the center of the storm. And after living through that, he was ready to go home and take care of his parents. And, I made wedding vows. I take it really seriously. And so it was not my dream to move to Hawaii. I am from Toronto. I like cold weather. I'm very pale. I don't belong in the sun. I don't know how to swim. I don't know how to drive. I mean, I'm like on an island. There's no way I can get off. But life has been really good in that time since. And it was very difficult. I think all of us, right, went through these sort of difficult reflective periods. But 5 years later, I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. And that's such a cool feeling.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? You don't know where you're going to be in 5 years' time. And you kind of, you're in search of something, I think, when you first start out. You're trying to find yourself, trying to sort of establish your identity. And I think during that kind of era of us all moving to cities, and I think everybody's always moved to cities for the work, but I think there was definitely a boom in the last decade where a lot more of us went to the creative hubs. It was easy for that to become part of our identity the most rather than anything else. Would you agree?
I think people have probably always identified strongly with the place that they live. But yeah, when you have these large hub cities or capital cities in countries around the world, of course, it feels more naturally like, yeah, this is who I am. I think a city like New York has such a strong identity. And it did really feel like, for me, like, oh, I'm going to be this New York artist type. And I think I believed it a little too much. I think I internalized it more than I had realized. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is when you're trying to be happy and content, satisfied, and grow in another place. So I had to sort of divest from that idea. And I think that this, at least, for my timeline, happened along the same time that I might have been embracing change anyway. It was from the 20s to 30s transition, it all kind of lined up for me. And you shouldn't need a global pandemic to kill millions of people for you to sort of wake up and realize that you need to change. But I suppose if everyone is changing around you, that does help.
Yeah, it was a very tough time. It really was. It did kind of make you stop and think, what am I doing with my life? And how could I make it better? And does all of this kind of stuff really matter? Does it matter if I have on my bio that I'm a New York-based artist?
Yeah, and it turns out it does matter in some ways. I feel like in some ways it does matter. I think that there was sort of a shift, maybe, and certainly there were opportunities that I had simply because of proximity. I believe that to be true, but I also think that I was kind of aging out of it anyway. And I also think that the way sort of influencer marketing and the way that marketers thought about plugging people into their campaigns changed too. So I think a lot was already changing, and I don't know, the timing was right.
Yeah.
But it was tough. It was tough being like, oh, well, this is a gig that I would have been great for, but I needed to be in the same city as whatever the shoot was going to be. Like I used to get a lot of stupid work. Not stupid. I mean, I love advertising, and I love all of the client partners I've ever had and all the brands I've ever, participated in marketing schemes with. But there was a lot of dumb shit happening, and I loved it. As a creative person, who wouldn't love to, have your rate increase tenfold because you have 100,000 followers and you're going to post a photo of whatever? It was nice. Yeah, great times. Do you remember money? There used to be it, and it would go around, and you could have some.
Yeah.
But I sometimes I felt like the New York thing helped for that, because that's where work was coming up, and they could send a film crew to your apartment to put you in something for something. Now I feel like I sound like a little sort of ungrateful asshole. I'm being glib. I'm intentionally. I think I'm trying to sort of like parody. Now we can all look back and be like, wow, what was that? But at the time, it was really exciting. I met really wonderful people. I'm so glad. Also, I think just to get back on track and broaden it, beyond New York, if you're someone who has thought about moving to a place for any amount of time. If it's in your mind and you're thinking about it, why not? Why not try it? You don't want to reach your deathbed and wish that you had done this one thing. And so, even if it's a long vacation, even if it's I'm going to move to wherever for 3 months, I do think at a certain point, just try, and you can fuck up your life a little bit, and then you'll just get back on track. It's fine.
Absolutely.
I had wanted New York, and I did it. I spent 10 years there, and I met my husband, and it was great. It was so great. I don't want this to be...
Yeah, do you know what? I think you'd fit in really well in Britain, because I love the sarcasm. This is what we do. We deal with like...
Very dry, yeah.
Yes, great. Absolutely lovely.
I don't know if I've ever met a Jewish British person. I think that would be so sarcastic. I could certainly handle it, but...
Yes.
Yeah.
You'd be right. You'd fit in with my family fine. We deal with...
I'd love it.
Yeah, we deal with kind of like difficult stuff with humor and sarcasm. That's how we work. That's how we function. Whether it's healthy or not, I don't know, but I enjoy it.
I think healthy to at least deal with it. If humor helps, that's wonderful. I think a lot of people don't deal with it at all in any capacity, and that's probably worse.
Yeah, my family are all a bit loud and crazy, which is just the way it should be. So you're on Hawaii. This is epic. This is a new chapter. We're not going to make too big a deal of the fact that you've left New York. I think it's just nice to establish, where you were before and how you built your career up and you made those contacts. And what, moving to somewhere like that, it's going to change quite a few things. And it's going to make you probably reflect quite a lot. Are you doing the same kind of work as you were doing before, or have things changed?
Moving to Hawaii changed my work, but also didn't. I think my work is always really rooted in my life and my personality and, who I am. And it's almost like dispatches from a person figuring it out in real time. And so after moving, the messages or the ethos of the work has stayed the same, but the actual content, the messages shifted. I'm also getting a little bit older, and maybe I'm getting a little bit wiser. I've been alive longer. I think it used to just be like leaking optimism and hope and desire to grow and change and be better. And now it's a little, now my work comes from this place of like, oh, I did grow. Oh, I have grown now. I am better now. And so it's really interesting for me to look at the work and see that. And I can see where the move happened for me. I will say that I'm someone who's always trying to identify and create meaning. And so I told myself when I left New York, okay, you are going to make this count. You're going to get a house and a dog and an antidepressant, and you are going to change all the things that maybe need changing or address the things that need addressing. And so I did that. And it was very difficult, I think, at first. And then, the changes kicked in.
Did you get a dog?
I got a dog. Yeah. Dogs are wonderful. I was afraid of dogs for a lot of my early life.
Same.
Don't know why. I think I didn't understand them. It's like, I don't understand you. You don't communicate with words. And I'm very dumb. If it's not words, I don't always grasp it. Like I lack subtlety and nuance. But yeah, dogs are great. The unconditional love, they force you to go for a walk. They have these cute little smushy faces. It's like, it's so sweet. And that's helped. Yeah. So life is happier. Life is simpler, and the joy comes easier because I have a dog, which is kind of like this, or any pet is like this little joy factory walking around. And then a little boost of medication, and my brain is, producing joy a little easier these days. I have a little boost. And so between that and just like looking at the ocean from my bathroom window, it's like,
oh, stop.
It's not bad. It's not a bad life. I'm so sorry.
You're doing all right.
I hate talking about it.
Yeah.
People get so fucking mad when you talk about Hawaii. I get on a call for work. You hop on a Zoom call and everyone's like, so where are you calling in from? And I don't even want to say. People don't want to hear it. I'm not trying to ruin your morning.
Yeah. But, on the other side, you do have to pick up the dog's poo.
Yeah, and I'll do it. I did it twice today, and I'll do it again. Sometimes I pick up strangers' poo.
Oh, God, no.
Sometimes if I'm just walking and it's like, so, it's in my block and I don't want the neighbor to think it was me. And I'm like, fuck it, I'll just pick that up. That's my good deed for the day.
Yeah.
And this is like a whole other thing, but I'm also in the process of trying to save a dog park. It's my like little political good karma actions. And I'll pick up the dog poop there too. So
that's so
I don't
cute.
know. We all have to participate in trying to make
the world
our
a better
world
place.
a slightly better place.
100%.
Yeah.
I go out and litter pick sometimes.
What else can we even control anymore? Graphic design is over. All we have is the park and our neighbors.
Adam, we're supposed to be inspiring people and giving them hope, not saying that
this is hope. There is hope. There is life. There is life after graphic design. You're welcome.
Basically, move to Hawaii, get a dog, everything's okay.
No, just get a dog wherever you are, or just lean into, one nice, simple thing. Maybe that's part of it, right? It's like you want to be cool so bad. Just stop that. If you still think cool is like a real sort of graspable and attainable goal, let it go. Get a dog, have a cup of tea.
But Adam, I'm going through post back injury. I'm going through a bit of a personal reinvention. I walked around Shoreditch in London about a year ago and realized I was dressed really kind of old fashioned and everything was too tight. And so I've been on a mission since to look like a Shoreditch hipster. It's working. I look like a dog.
It's
working. The trousers keep getting bigger.
They're getting smaller again. I'm so sorry to report. We're seeing skinny jeans return. We're seeing low rise.
What, even like rips in the knees?
I've never been a rips in the knees person, but the trends are cycling so fast that
there's a level.
Don't throw out the skinny stuff yet. Just keep it. Just keep it under the bed. It's going to be back in 5 years. The rise of Ozempic and GLP-1s is bringing back a very toxic late 90s, early 2000s, like dangerously skinny thing is back. Oh, it's going to be great. You're going to hate yourself so much. I can't wait for that.
Well, I'm taking inspiration from the Japanese, particularly men, because I just love that style.
Absolutely.
So I'm kind of hoping that stays in style forever. So then all the things I'm investing in, even though my trousers could probably take off in a gusty wind, will stand the test of time.
And that's comfort. Here's the thing about wide trousers. They're just more comfortable.
And I look cool.
Yeah. No, it's great. You walk around like a fucking ghost. It's wonderful. No,
I love it.
I think we are, yeah, you and I think are probably both in this chapter of like staple pieces. You know, we don't have to keep up with what 20-year-olds are doing.
No. Oh my God,
Yeah,
thank God.
You know what's really cool? This is, I don't know if this is here or there, but it's kind of cool to be at this moment of a career when you can afford to like buy a cool thing.
Yes.
Where it used to be I'd walk into the shop and I'd be like, what is on the sale rack? And now I'm like, Adam, you don't have to buy a shitty thing. You can decide what you'd actually like and then maybe own it. And it does change the way you think about your purchasing habits. Because
Absolutely.
It's like, oh, I could get this thing that is beautiful and maybe I'm going to have it for 10 years or 20 years or the rest of my life.
I bought
It's cool to think about making those things too, you know, for others.
God, yeah. And it's nice buying something independent. I mean, I bought a men's overshirt the other day, got home thinking I had this men's overshirt in a sort of dark grey. And I had the amazing moment when I realised, Adam, it was reversible. It was 2 jackets in one.
That's half price. You've saved 50%.
It was so worth the price tag. Anyway, speaking of shops, this is one of the kind of new things that you've started. You've actually created a little business, which is what exactly is it? Tell me all about it. Small Kind Gift?
Yes. Small Kind Gift is like a gift store, bookstore, souvenir shop. Nothing too serious. So Small Kind Gift is, the word kind is Hawaiian pidgin, like a local slang. And it essentially means, or is comparable to like a thingamajig or whatchamacallit. It's a placeholder word that could mean a little bit of anything. Unlike thingamajig or whatchamacallit, you know, these placeholders that are things, kind could also be any noun, a person, place, or thing. And so you could be talking about the kind and it's like, pass me a screwdriver. Or you could be talking about the kind and it's like some bitch in the same room who you're talking about without using their name, and they don't even know you're talking shit about them. It's 100% contextual. And so Small Kind Gift signals to people walking by and to people who are local to Hawaii that this is going to be a shop that just has like a little something. And it's not too serious and it's not too stressful, right? I think we all can relate to, you know, someone gives you an expensive gift and you're like, oh, this is lovely. Fuck, I've got to go buy them something, you know,
Yes.
And you get stuck in this gifting loop of you're trying to match their level of gift, and gift giving culture and like hostess gift culture is pretty strong here in Hawaii. I think there's a lot of Japanese influence here too. Small Kind Gift is like a low pressure, low stakes. I got this thing and I thought of you and no big deal, and you don't owe me anything in return. So this is all of the intentionality that we put into this gift shop. We really overthought the whole thing. It's rooted in the exact same ethos of my own gift brand that I've been doing for, you know, over a decade now as Adam JK, and extending that more broadly to a shop where we get to sell books and art and nostalgic toys and candy and, you know, all the things that we love that feel special to us or emotional to us for one reason or another. And the secret guiding force that I have is that if it feels really sentimental to me and I have a strong emotional reaction, hopefully someone else will feel that too. And so there are many items that we sell because of a specific personal story that I have or my husband has or whatever. And you don't really need to know that, but I like to imagine that somewhere in the process, you can kind of feel it. And now I'm just waxing poetic about like the very concept of a gay person having a shop, which is actually a time-old tradition.
Love. The thought that goes into a gift is always, I think, more precious than the value of a gift.
Absolutely. I think we all know this, and then we forget.
Yeah.
You know, you go to a gift shop and you're like, well, I got to get something. And you kind of panic and then you buy like a $50 candle, you know?
Which nobody wants.
Unless it's a great candle. Well, you know what I mean? Like, what does it smell like? What is it made of? What does the vessel look like? I'm not really a candle guy. No. I resisted even selling candles for the first year. So I was like, I don't want that. But I have finally found this beautiful little brand that I love. It's like a florist who got a divorce and now makes candles. And they're in these colorful little jars and the scents are really excellent. And, you know, it's like one guy at home somewhere in Los Angeles and now we sell them.
See, this is
they don't sell
love.
that well, but they're there.
They're there.
Our customer doesn't really want
them.
candles. Yeah. It's like, I don't really want to sell you a candle, but if you really want one, I have one.
Yes.
Let me know. I'll go get it from the back, you know.
So that's the thing. You bring in things that have got also a story behind them. That's what people invest in now.
Absolutely. This is what I just love and care about. I'll be honest, I did not open the shop for financial reasons. I feel like
it's a hobby.
I don't want someone to listen to this podcast and be like, wow, he's opened a shop and now he can afford to live in Hawaii. No, I can't. That's not how this is happening. I have made several books and journals going back to the early 2010s.
Yeah.
And have had some commercial success and been very careful with money this entire time.
Living in your skinny jeans.
Yeah. Oh, I never wore skinny jeans. You can't see my legs. I've never been skinny in my whole life. So, some slimmer cuts, certainly, but no, I've always been a large adult man. What am I saying? Oh, yeah, I opened a shop. I opened a shop for the joy of it.
Yes.
It's only really possible because of the ongoing freelance work I do and work in publishing. And the shop, it would be more profitable to not open a shop.
Yeah.
But
you're bored, basically. That's it. You're bored.
I needed to fill
a void,
a certain void. Yeah, there was something missing. This is something different from New York to Hawaii. In New York, in London, in these big cities, you can people watch all day, and every day you'll meet someone that you might never see again. And when you go to a smaller city or a town, you reduce that opportunity for chance.
Yeah.
For those surprise meetings. And as a shopkeeper, every day I open the curtain and I flick on the sign and then I sit and I wait and the universe brings me a surprise every day. Here is a honeymooning couple from Japan. Here is someone who was raised on this block and did not notice that we've been open for a year and a half. It's like, it's wonderful. It's so fun. And so I opened a shop because I was missing that sense of chance.
Yeah.
Cute. And a few other reasons, but it's all logistic. It's all emotional. Logically, financially, not a smart choice. I'm grateful. It has actually been going pretty well.
Yeah.
We just crossed the 1-year mark.
Yay.
And I have been very surprised. I think financially we're on a nice path, but it would be better business to just do more freelance work and have no overhead, no employees.
Yeah, but
you can't
have everything.
That can't be the deciding factor in life. Life is I was going to say life's too short, but actually life is also too long to suffer.
Yes.
Life is both too short and too long, frankly.
Exactly. When you've got all that ocean to stare at, just tiresome. When you moved from New York to Hawaii, just out of curiosity, for my own personal curiosity, I've never been to Hawaii. I don't know what it's like. I presume it's like got that small townish kind of vibe. Were you freaked out when people were saying hello to you all the time and good morning? Or was New York quite friendly in that regard?
I think Hawaii is definitely more friendly. I will say also that I live in Honolulu in the city.
Ah, okay. So not in the middle of nowhere. The biggest
city. No, it's the biggest city in the most populous island of all the islands here. And so there are places that are much more sort of country feeling. And there are people even on this island, within 30 minutes drive, who would refer it's almost derogatory the way they talk about townies. Which is funny because then to someone in New York, it's like we're all nothing, nowhere, middle of the ocean, barely exist.
What are you even doing?
Yeah, but people generally are friendlier here. I have to say I'm kind of a friendly person. I don't know if that's coming through on this podcast because I'm being very sort of sarcastic.
It is. Don't worry, you're in good company. I understand. I'm getting the humor.
Stated for the record, Adam's the kind of guy who says good morning to you in the street. And I was like that in New York too. There's my barber, and there's the post office, and there's the coffee shop. And I'm like that here too. I like how easy it comes here. I love the sort of small talk. In Hawaii, we call small talk talking story. I love to talk story.
It's like, how's Hannah doing? Did she get her knee operation sorted? You know, how's Barbara? Is she still going out with Jim, or is Jim now going out with Sarah? You know, that kind of thing.
Well, that's gossip. That's sounding very British to me. You're all up in everyone's business.
We're so rude.
Yeah. Oh.
It's because we live in boring small towns now. You know, we need drama.
Oh, but you guys walk a lot, right? That's like a thing. You know who I think of? I've actually never been to the UK ever. I feel like maybe there's a curse in my life. I was actually booked for a big conference in London, and then it was a whole thing where they didn't really want to pay me. And I was like, okay, well then I don't want to talk badly about any international design and advertising organization.
You don't get paid. It's
that
your
would
time.
be so bad. But anyway, it was so whack. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to go. And then now it's almost like a little joke in my life that I've never been to London, because I seem like such a guy who would.
Yeah.
And I mean that in a derogatory way.
We need to get you over here.
But my impression... No, it's fine.
We could start a campaign.
My impression of all British people is just Mr. Bingo. I'm just like, you guys are always walking and you're always nude for some reason. And that's British people to me. Thanks to Mr. Bingo.
There are certain campsites that you can go to if you're a bit perverted. Yeah. Although I think a lot of those are dying out now. But you know, because I've got a camper van and I don't go to those sorts of campsites. But sometimes you come across a campsite in Britain where it's clear that it used to be one of those campsites, because grown men are wandering around in skin tight budgie smugglers and nothing else. And they're all eyeing each other up.
Yeah, I would hate that. No, I'm just kidding.
It's too much. No, not this chap. Believe me.
I completely understand. There's something very beautiful and free about that. Yeah, not for me either.
No.
God, how did we get here? I think he would be happy to know that
He was, yes. Are you friends with Mr. Bingo?
Casually, I would say. Yes. Internet friends, but we overlapped at a conference in Mexico City many years ago. And we've never been seen in the same room twice. No, I'm just kidding. But I like his whole deal. And he's also opened a little shop in the last 2 years.
He has. I think it's going really well for him. Bless him.
Seems like it. This is where our paths diverge. I would never open a shop with my name on it.
I thought you were going to say you'd never get your bum out on social media, but there you go.
I probably wouldn't do that either. It's just not my brand, you know?
No.
Like, I'm doing a very different thing. No, I so admire him for doing this little shop his way. For me, I was actually so burned out. This was part of this growth that happened for me between 2020 and 2023, where I had to, I left New York and I'm really sitting with where I'm at. And I was so burned out on Adam JK, the brand, as it was, where I have my work that is rooted in me as a real person. But then I also had this gift and stationery brand, and I was really growing it, I think, bigger than it needed to be, to the point where it felt impersonal. And then to the point where I was like, I'm done with this Adam JK thing, which that's my literal name. So it was a very strange, sort of confusing feeling to hate yourself, but not yourself, but the product.
Yeah.
The product version of yourself that you made with your name. And anyway, opening this shop that doesn't center me or my work has also been really, really helpful, because it's still rooted in the same things that I'm passionate about. The shop itself is an art project to me. And yet my name doesn't have to be all over everything. And people come in and they do not know that I made a book that's on the shelf. People pick up my work and laugh about it, have no idea it's me.
That's great, though, isn't it? It's quite liberating.
It's so healing.
Yeah.
God, it feels so great. It helps get back to the heart of just making things and why we make things, and why we make things that we love that are born from our obsessions. Anyone listening who is just making something for the love of the game. That's what it's all about. So I love it, and I feel like I'm just there cosplaying as a shopkeeper. And sometimes I'll tell people, oh, the owner of the shop designed that one. That thing that you love, oh, the owner of the shop made that. And then people are left to their own imagination about some invisible wealthy guy who who has employed this young chap to sit at the register and talk story about the product.
Today's episode is sponsored by Adobe Acrobat Studio. And honestly, if you spend a significant chunk of your week dealing with documents, hear me out. Most of us have a complicated relationship with them. They pile up, they're scattered across platforms, and reading through a 20-page contract or client brief to find one specific thing is nobody's idea of a good time. Acrobat Studio is genuinely trying to fix that. The AI assistant means you can literally ask your documents questions, get a summary, pull out key points, interrogate a file, without having to really read every word. PDF Spaces lets you group all your relevant files together, PDFs, Word docs, web pages, so your whole team can work from the same place without the endless back and forth. And there's a direct integration with Adobe Express, so if you need to turn a document into a presentation or a social asset, you can do it without leaving the platform. It's one of those tools that quietly removes a lot of friction from your day. Head to the link in the show notes to find out more. It's quite amazing, really, when you think about it. You built a successful career by using your name and building a platform and building a reputation and having all these amazing things at your fingertips, the Instagram, going and doing talks, flying all around the world. And I suppose it's just ends up feeling like you're in this kind of constant spinning whirlwind. And at some point, you just do need to sort of take a step back and say, well, what is it? Both feed into each other. But if you don't really need to do that kind of, I suppose you could call it marketing anymore, which is exhausting, let's be honest, especially modern marketing, then yeah, you can pivot and you can do something new, which you've proved you can. Must be liberating.
Yeah, I think it's a real relief. And, when you describe the sort of the head spinning nature of it, I think it's relative. I'm sure that a truly busy person would look at me at the height of my work. In 2019, I flew 47 times. I gave so many talks. I did so much work that year. Gosh. I'm sure a truly busy person would look at my schedule and be like, that's an off year for me. But for me, in my own life, that was a lot.
I think that's a lot. That's a lot.
It is a lot. Some of that was weddings. There were a lot of weddings that year for some reason. I just spent so much time on an airplane. But, it's relative. I think a lot of people can relate to just that feeling of like, shit, things are slipping away from me. Whether it's because I'm so busy or just that it's more busy than I want to be at this moment. And yeah, that is kind of where I was. And my New Year's resolution for 2020 was, I'm going to stay home more, I'm going to cook, and I'm not going to really fly and travel. And that's why I developed the COVID-19 virus. I was eating bats and then just sort of spitting them into the water supply, hoping for a break.
You heard it here
you're
first,
welcome,
folks.
everyone. Yeah, patient X, it's me.
Oh, gosh.
No, that's so fucked. Actually, I don't know why I'm saying that. But...
Adam, honestly, don't worry. Our listeners are very kind of open-minded and fun.
Yeah. I'm only pretending to be horrified.
I don't need
That's
to put in
not
a
the first time
disclaimer.
I've told that joke.
Don't worry.
Yeah. Warning, this guy's dumb as fuck. No, it was just more than I could handle. And I think also I was just growing. When you make work that's rooted in who you are, it's going to change and evolve. And it should. What gets tricky is when you have other people other cooks in the kitchen, and the kitchen is your name. When I work with a brand partner or a publisher who's like, oh, can we have it be more like the Adam JK? And I'm like, well, it's all me actually, but it becomes something else.
Yeah. It's frustrating.
I don't mean to complain.
No, I don't think
I'm
you're
so
complaining.
grateful for everything that has ever happened to me. When I look at it all now, I'm like, that's exactly how it was meant to go.
Yeah.
And I will say, in opening the shop, in creating original products for the shop as myself, quietly as our brand, and then third with artist partners, friends of ours, from around town, or creative young people who just walk in and sort of, hey, I do this. Do you want to sell this? And we're like, well, maybe. Making all this original stuff, I'm pulling from this vast well of knowledge that I sort of accumulated over the years where I'm like, actually, I'm pretty good at this.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yes.
And it's cool to be on the other side of things that were once very difficult to learn, things around getting your work off of a screen and into the real world in people's hands, not just production, but distribution and barcodes and packaging and wholesale and retail and all this fucking stuff. And then to be able to do that with and for other creative people who are maybe more talented at drawing or photography or whatever it is, but do not have the emotional capacity or the financial ability to print 500 sticker sheets or t-shirts or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it's very cool to be like, oh, I'm actually kind of good at this and I have these resources and I'm going to use all of them and go do this other thing. It feels so good to be useful and of service.
Not to stare deeply into your soul or anything, but do you feel like you kind of... I wish I was that, intuitive, but no, it's... I suppose it's quite a thing to have been working towards something, whether it was conscious or not, and then you be at the top of your game. Like you said, you went to so many talks in 2019. You achieved everything. You'd written books. You'd become known. You were commanding decent, wages for your work. Does there come a point where you're sort of like, okay, what next? I've kind of done all that. And is the what next this new kind of chapter, or am I doing the typical Katie Cowan thing and overthinking everything?
No, you're exactly right. Oh. And overthinking are you a chronic overthinker? Is that your deal?
I wish I was. I don't think I'm smart enough.
You don't have to be smart to overthink. Let's be clear. Thinking and intelligence not the same. I'm an overthinker, but I'm not that smart.
Well, I don't know. I'm very good at switching off. I have I think for the most part, I'm very much sort of level. And then I'll have little sort of moments where it'll spike up and I'll go, okay, let's not think about that again.
Being alive. Yeah. No, that's how you know that you're living. That doesn't sound bad at all.
I just like to be here, just nice and level. Like, just don't go there and carry on. It's the easier way to be.
Yeah, it certainly would be easier, right? It's like we know it would be easier. I catch myself sometimes. I start thinking and I have to remind myself that just because I thought it doesn't make it true.
Exactly.
Just because I felt it. You think of something and you feel your heart rate increase. You wake up, you sit up in bed, you're like, and then it's like, wait a minute, that was a thought. That was not a fact.
Yes.
That's not accurate necessarily. And oh my God, it took me so long to be able to stop myself and calm down. And it's much harder to do when you're stoned all the time. I'll say that too.
I was about to say.
The weed doesn't help.
Is it legal? Is it legal in Hawaii?
In Hawaii, it's legal if you have a medical reason.
Oh, okay.
And that medical reason is very easy to, we all have a medical reason. We all have back pain. We all have anxiety.
Oh, I love
that. So you pay a doctor and you get a little card.
Yes.
Actually, I really like this. In Hawaii, the medical weed that you can purchase, the rule is it has to be grown in Hawaii. Oh. So the sale of the marijuana is supporting local farmers.
Well, there
and
you
that's
go.
Cool. It's a cool consideration to build into the process. Whereas in California, when you're buying edibles or vape cartridges, you could be smoking anything from anywhere. And there's some real issues around, I don't know, I keep seeing stuff about issues around the regulation of what the ingredients actually are.
Yes.
I actually don't smoke weed anymore at all.
No, me neither.
Which was a huge change for me. Because when I moved to Hawaii, I had long hair and I was like, fuck it, let's go. And I was just a pothead for 2.5 years. And it was a vibe. It was peak pandemic. There's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
I got my dog in my lap and the sun's in the sky. What am I saying? Oh yeah, overthinking bad.
Yes, overthinking bad. I love this. I went to California before the pandemic. I think it was for Jewish New Year. I went and stayed with some friends and we went to see Gary Clark Jr. at the Hollywood Bowl.
Oh, nice.
And I'm a Brit, right? We're all a bit crazy. I remember going to a concert about 10 years prior and watched Oh, who were they? Oh, they were fantastic. But we were the only ones, we were the only Brits, and we were the only ones jumping up and down and going mad. There was like a pig pinata, which I'd smashed up and put the pig's head on my head and was dancing around. And these lovely little American lads came up to us and said, "Who are you? We want to hang out with you. You're fun." We're just British and drunk. And we went to the Hollywood
Different
Bowl.
vibe. Yeah, you
Completely.
guys bring it.
And I turned to my friends, Joe and Belle, and I said, "It's Gary Clark Jr. He's playing like amazing rhythm and blues. Why is everyone sat down and just sort of staring blankly? Like, if this was Britain, people would be up front throwing like bottles of piss at each other and like, you know, crowd surfing and going
Classic
crazy."
British pastime.
And then I realized everyone was just stoned.
Yeah, it completely changes.
It's
completely
weird.
changes the
Weird.
vibe.
I think I prefer violent alcoholism for a concert.
Well, you would. That's a cultural difference between us. I love that sort of like blissed out like LA thing. It's very slow and like
Gary
kind
Clark
of
Jr.
dumb.
though. Come on.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going off on a tangent. It's my fault. I do
No, I
this
love it.
every single time.
Listen, I like to listen to a podcast where I feel like nobody is selling me anything. If you're just tuning in, this episode is sponsored by
Adam has a shop.
smoking weed with your friends or throwing a bottle of piss. Those are the sponsors.
Other weed brands are available.
Yeah.
So actually, the whole process that you've gone through has led to a brand new book, which is coming out at the end of 2026. Is that right?
Yes, that's
so there
true.
you go. We're selling something.
You're like the fourth person to know this, by the way. I'm putting out a new guided creative journal at the end of this year, appropriately titled Now What? And it is really about figuring your way through whatever is coming next. It's very much a who am I now? Where have I been and where am I going? And my work is always really about that. And this journal was born out of that. And so there's creative writing prompts and drawing prompts, but there's also longer form, written reminders and notes from me and a lot of sort of irreverent little whatevers. My first two books were journals, and they continue to sell one page at a time, particularly. Continues to sell very well in several countries and several languages. And so it's really exciting to think about creating a new, very conscious tool, creative tool for people far beyond the scope of my reach here on an island, in the ocean, in this country, in this part of the world, in this language. So I'm thrilled to be making my first new journal in 10 years. And I think it's coming at the right time where a lot of us have been living through this moment. A lot of us have made it through this post-COVID thing. The world feels really uncertain. AI is happening. Global governments are destabilized. We survived one thing and now we're in the midst of the next. And it's like, yeah, now what? I mean, literally now what? Now what do I do with all of this?
Yeah.
I think it makes sense. It's where I'm at, and it's where I think most of us are at. So
I think so.
Once again, I'm just kind of reacting to life as it happens. And I'm so grateful to be able to do it in a way that might be useful to others, whether that is in a tangible, helpful, intentional, journaling is good for your mental health kind of way, or in a fucking now what, distraction, goofy, sort of something to occupy your mind with for 5 minutes before bed. No matter how you use it, I'd like to think that it could help. So I'm excited, but I probably won't talk about it much more than this.
No, that's
until
fine.
It's coming out.
Well, we'll hopefully be able to write about it. And I think you're right. I think you've touched on something very, very much right there in front of all of us at the moment. We're all kind of thinking, what now? Probably a lot of us are feeling very burnt out still.
Even if you're not, it's coming back around, isn't it? It's like, I used to kind of, we used to kind of think about like, oh, creative block and then it's over. Burnout and then you heal. And it's like, no, this is all so cyclical anyway.
Yes.
And that's what's beautiful though, isn't it? It's you learn the tools and then the next time it comes up, you have access to those tools and you can get yourself through faster or more efficiently. You can ask yourself the right questions the first time.
Yeah.
You can communicate more fully and more truthfully the first time. So yeah, that also comes to play in this journal. It was really taking me back. I made my first journal. I worked on it over the course of the year 2013. And this was in a year of recovery from a nervous breakdown that sent me to the hospital.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And no, it's okay. It's great. I broke my brain in half. And then my entire career was born out of this crash course in empathy and understanding. That's like a romantic way to process the most traumatic thing that's ever happened to me in my life. And so working on this new journal now with a completely different breadth of emotional awareness and knowledge and intentionality with the foundation of an existing creative career has been really almost like a gratitude practice. Because it's like, oh, well, the last time I did this, I was out of my fucking mind. I mean, literally, I was out of my mind. And now I'm thinking about all the different types of people who might find this book in their lives in some way and where they might be at and the hardship or difficulty or confusion that they might be experiencing. Whether it's now what because you're recovering, or now what because you don't know what to do next, or now what because you graduated and a parent has gifted you a cute book with a funny title. Whatever that is, meeting people where they're at. And so I'm really grateful to do something new, really grateful for all the learning that life has brought, and really hopeful that this new book can continue to do the work that I try to do in my books, in my brand, in my shop, in my life. I'm just trying to put something good into the world, not take up too much space, but speak loudly enough that anyone who shares my inner monologue might be able to overhear it and tap in or feel somewhat less alone.
Beautiful. Well, we're looking very much forward to that book coming out. And that leads me to say thank you so much for your time today, Adam. It's been wonderful. It's been great.
Thanks for having me.
That, my friends, was Adam Kurtz. And I just want to go to Hawaii now and pop into his shop and troll him and see if he can figure out who I am. Maybe one day. It is a bit of a trek from Manchester. Honestly, loved the chat, just felt so real. He wasn't pretending, there was no big ego. He's just figuring life out like the rest of us. And I think that's the big takeaway, really. You're allowed to change, try something completely new, and you don't have to have it all nailed down to be doing all right. We'll link to Adam's work and his shop, Small Kind Gift, in the show notes, and keep an eye out for his new book, Now What, which is coming out later this year, I think, because it feels pretty spot on right now. If you enjoyed this one, give us a follow or share it with a mate who needs a bit of a nudge. And we'll see you on Thursday for The Spark, where we get to ask Adam a ton of silly questions and get to know him a little bit better. Until then. Thanks to Adobe Acrobat Studio for sponsoring this episode. Head to the link in the show notes to find out more.